Hi there, Year 7. So, welcome to Term 6, Week 5. So, last lesson, we started looking at those revolting peasants and how disgusting they were. And we started looking at the protest of the Peasants Revolt. And this week, what we're going to do is go into that a little bit deeper, see what those rascals were really up to. So, if you'd like to put your title, which is the events of the Peasants Revolt, and that can be on paper, in your exercise book, or on the computer, whatever you're using to do this work, and then pop today's date down for me. First things first. So our starter today is a Spag Starter, otherwise known as spelling, punctuation and grammar. And it's something that we always should be working on throughout all our subjects. So we're going to start with this today. Now what I'd like you to do is to copy out the 2 paragraphs I have written on the slide. Now the history is completely perfect in that, there's no problems with that, but it looks like I've slipped up a bit with my spelling, my punctuation and my grammar, and as you read through it you'll probably notice some mistakes. So what I would like you to do is when you write it out, to write it out perfectly for me. So what you've got are 7 spelling errors, there are 5 missing capital letters, there's 1 missing full stop and 1 missing apostrophe. And what I'd like you to do, after you've written it out, I want you to either underline or highlight or draw a bubble where you have corrected my errors in that, please. Brilliant, Year 7. Well done on your Spag task. Now, your first task today is I'd like you to watch the video. It's something that we might do a little of when you come back to school, if you'd like to make some videos of historic events. So there's 2 things I want you to do when you're watching this. Number 1 is obviously to try and get the idea of the events of the Peasants Revolt, because we're really looking at the chronological order, what happened when in the Peasants Revolt, but also it might give you a bit of ideas about some videos that we might like to make maybe as we go into Year 8. So I want you to watch the video, and once you've watched the video I want you to read the sheet. And I seem to have mixed up my chronology here, so that sheet is not in the correct order. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to see if you can work out the order that it should be, because you're going to use this information for task 2. Now it's up to you. You might want to number them. You might want to cut them up. You might want to jot them down. It doesn't matter to me. You don't need to write them out, but just make sure that you've got that in the correct order, so you are confident that your chronology of the events of the Peasants Revolt is correct. If you are struggling, the 7 sheet has the same information on it, but it's got it in chronological order already, so you might want to check it on that, okay? Using the information in the correct chronological order, you're now going to create me a comic strip all about the Peasants Revolt. So it's going to have the 10 boxes on it, because we had 10 things that happened, and each box needs to include the information from the sheet. We need to know what was going on. I need pictures to illustrate this. I need speech bubbles from important people. And I don't mind how you do this. You could do this in your book, take a double page. If you're working on paper, that's absolutely fine. If you want to do it on the computer, again, absolutely fine. Wherever you work, it would be absolutely great to see colour. If you want to do it on the computer, maybe you want to do it as a slideshow. And maybe you want to do an audio, like I've been doing for you, so that we can see what different people were saying at the time. Completely up to you. Be creative, Year 7, but that really important thing is the correct chronological order. So task 3 is our last task today because you've done my spelling, punctuation and grammar task. You've watched the video and you've put your sheet into chronological order and checked it. You've created your comic strip. And I just want to now focus on some of the important people in the Peasants Revolt. So I've got 4 people here, but again, I've mixed up their descriptions of who they are. So at the moment, I've got Wat Tyler as a 14-year-old king, and I don't think that's correct. So for your last task today, what I'd like you to do, I'd like to write out the names of the people: Wat Tyler, John Ball, Richard II, and the Archbishop of Canterbury. And after them, I'd like you to write out the correct description of who they were. Okay? So well done. Thank you for joining me. Really, really look forward to seeing your work. Next week, we're going to look at the consequences of the Peasants' Revolt, so what happened after. I'm going to do a little bit of source work on that as well, okay? So all that remains is for me to say thank you very much, Year 7. Once it's done, if as usual, you can upload it onto Show My Homework or email it to your teacher, whatever you have been doing. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye, Year 7.